When the high fortress casts its shadow over all natural laws, that is when the most brutal death sentence is pronounced. Amidst the frenzied encirclement that holds the breath of the entire savannah, who will be the sole survivor? The lioness's wrath. A death sentence for the leopard. Under the blood-red sunlight of the Serengeti, the savannah resembles a dry, golden carpet holding its breath. The wind ceases, and the tall elephant grass rustles. In that eerily silent space, life operates quietly according to the harsh rules established millions of years ago. Ancient acacia trees stand tall like solitary fortresses, where shadows begin to lengthen, concealing the most cruel schemes of nature. The scorching afternoon sun of the savannah begins to soften, giving way to the long, drawn-out shadows cast by the ancient trees. In that deceptive silence, a leopard was watching from above. It wasn't hungry, but its competitive instincts and excessive cunning led it to the worst decision of its life. Taking advantage of the lions resting after their hunt, the leopard glided like a ghost through the tall grass. Its target wasn't an antelope, but the smallest, weakest creature in the pride, a lion cub. These cubs were only a few weeks old, their eyes still cloudy and their steps unsteady on the hot ground. Their mothers had hidden them in deep dens or secluded tree hollows. For at this stage, the venomous fangs of leopards or the laughter of hyenas were always lurking. In a moment of carelessness from the lions, the spotted assassin pounced on its target. The leopard quickly retreated, carrying its spoils back to its familiar fortress, where it believed the wrath of the earth could never reach. The lioness awoke from her short nap. Maternal instinct told her something was wrong. She began pacing the bushes. Her roars for her cub, initially low and hoarse, but gradually becoming hoarse and desperate. The vast savannah was now only answered by the dry wind. A sound came from the high trees. The lioness looked up and saw a heart-wrenching sight. Her cub lay motionless on a high branch under the claws of its attacker. In that moment, the pain of losing her child had unleashed a power more terrifying than physical strength. Utter rage. The silence now carried the pressure of an impending storm. By the laws of nature, a lion's massive muscles are not designed for climbing. But today, that rule was broken. The sound of claws digging into the bark was horrifying, like bones being crushed. The lioness lunged forward with the force of hatred. Each inch of wood torn away was a step closer to the killer of her cub. The leopard above began to panic. It had never seen a lion climb so fast and furiously. A terrifying sound ripped through the sky. The branch that the leopard had believed impenetrable suddenly collapsed under the immense weight and fury of the lioness. That small earthquake created a gap for survival. The leopard darted into the dark bushes, fleeing its death sentence. This deep-seated hatred was recorded. A cruel end for the assassin. Many days had passed since the horrific collapse of the wooden fort, and the savannah remained as quiet as ever. But for the leopard, the slightest sound now carried the weight of death. Leaving what was once paradise, but had become a terrifying memory, the leopard found a new territory. Under the scorching midday sun, the African savanna appears like a giant furnace. The air vibrates with heat, distorting everything on the horizon. While most predators choose to rest in the shade, the leopard chooses this time to act. It knows that under this intense light, the contrast between the light and the shadows cast by the thorny bushes will become the perfect camouflage for its spotted coat. The target is a herd of unsuspecting impala antelopes by a shallow waterhole. Don't let their slender appearance deceive you. Impalas are the most sensitive radar machines of the savannah. Their leaf-shaped ears constantly rotate 180 degrees, picking up the slightest sounds from vibrations. Every millimeter of their skin contains receptors sensitive to changes in wind currents. Just a strange scent carrying the smell of blood. And the entire pack will explode into a whirlwind of speed. The leopard began its risky approach. It had to crawl close to the ground, utilizing every dry blade of grass, every small stone. It was at the moment the antelope surrendered to its burning thirst. That the leopard pounced. The impala heard the sound. Its survival instinct kicking in belatedly, it leaped up to 3 meters to escape. A technically skillful takedown, followed by a bite that locked onto its trachea. Finished. A terrifying silence fell, broken only by the heavy, ragged breathing of the victor. But in broad daylight, blood always has a price. The smell of fresh protein permeated the hot air. And immediately, maniacal, broken laughter echoed from the distance. Hyenas. They howled and called to their pack as they went, creating a matrix of sounds to intimidate their opponents. The leopard's eyes blazed with rage. It glared at the solitary tree afar. The only fortress that could save its meal. But with a 60 kilograms impala in its mouth, would it be able to break through the encirclement of the predators? With nowhere left to hide, the two sides struggled for the prey. Suddenly, the leopard exploded, using its steel teeth to lock onto the prey's neck, dragging the antelope carcass high up the tree. On the sturdy acacia branch, the leopard began to savor the fruits of an unequal battle. It settled on the high fork, breathing heavily. Safety at this moment was a luxury it had paid for with its life. Would the tactic of climbing high remain a solid shield for the leopard against its collective predators? Not far away, on another treetop, another troop was watching the events unfold with calculated silence. A troop of baboons. Unlike the hyena's chaotic movements, the baboons sat motionless like gray statues. The alpha males, with their long, sharp fangs, watched the leopard's every move. This was a society governed by iron discipline and strict stratification. Baboons were not simply primates. They were organized warriors. While the troop was busy searching for berries, the division of labor was extremely clear. Females and young baboons in the safest canopy, while young males acted as lookouts in the lower branches. They weren't predators. They were keepers of information for the wilderness. Their alarm calls could turn a stealthy assassin into an obvious target for any enemy in the area. But as the baboons focused on their meal high above, a silent threat was tightening its grip below the tree's base. Not lions, not leopards, but the most brutal army of killers on the savannah. Tragedy erupts when the alpha baboon, a veteran with silver-gray fur and fangs over 5 centimeters long, is on the ground checking the safety of the troop. In an instant, the encirclement closed. Short, sharp barks from the pack of wild dogs rang out, activating a mass attack. The baboons attacked ferociously, compensating for their numerical disadvantage with ferocity, creating a barrier that sent the pack of wild dogs scattering. The gray-furred one remained standing. It stood there, its eyes blazing as it watched the wild dogs flee. As the last striped figures of the wild dogs vanished into the hazy dust, the baboons began to release their tension. One might have thought the wild dogs had given up after their defeat at the hands of the baboons. But no. With the intelligence of the most disciplined predators of the savannah, they were merely changing their target. The leopard, holding its juicy prey in the tree, was the real target. The pack of wild dogs didn't go far. They fanned out, patiently lying in ambush in the shade of the dry, thorny bushes, waiting for the slightest mistake from the lone predator. African wild dogs hunt with the unwavering persistence of a unified entity. Unlike the solitary leopard, Wild dogs share everything: food, the care of their young, and even hatred. When a member of the pack gives the signal, the entire spotted matrix begins to operate with the precision of a mechanical clock. In a moment of carelessness, while trying to adjust the carcass of an antelope on a weak branch, the leopard lost its balance and fell to the ground. That's all it took for the spotted matrix to explode. Gone was the pride of its high place. The leopard was surrounded by 12 frenzied killers. They employed a ruthless nibbling tactic. One lunged to bite at its hind legs. Others attacked from all sides. The leopard roared, unleashing desperate blows. From the distant high mound, a colossal figure stood tall in the fiery red sunset. The lioness. She had been there for a long time, her amber eyes fixed on the chaotic scene below. She watched the man who had killed her cub gasp for breath under the claws of the pack of savage dogs. A cruel irony. What would the lioness do? Would she swoop down like a savior to reclaim the right to personally execute her cub's killer? Or would she stand still, coldly witnessing the harsh law of the savannah wipe out her enemy in utter agony? The sunset faded over the Serengeti, but the ghosts of hatred still lingered somewhere among the grass. The savannah had taught us a bitter lesson. In the game of survival, the strongest is not the one who kills the most, but the one who can endure pain and stand firm against the cruel paradoxes of nature. The leopard has lost its fortress, and the lioness has lost her cub. But the order of the jungle remains eternal. The rules broken today will become legends tomorrow, where every scar tells a story of blood debt and rebirth. Is the lioness's silence an act of forgiveness, or the cruelest punishment for her enemy? If you were the lioness, would you choose to end her life, or turn your back and walk away? Leave your comments, and don't forget to subscribe to join us in exploring the most brutal and tragic hidden corners of the wild. See you in the next death sentence.
As soon as the prey falls, the hyena's hoarse laughter echoes from the bushes. But when the victim remembers, who will ultimately pay the price? A blatant robbery. When a pack of hyenas steals the fruits of a wild dog's labor. Amidst the vast savannas of Africa, where the sun scorches the earth and the wind carries the scent of dry dust and decaying corpses, survival is never a given. Here, each day is a bargaining chip with hunger, thirst, and lurking predators. Every run, every bite must be exchanged for food, otherwise hunger will come before the next dawn. In that world, wild dogs are symbols of efficiency, hunting in packs, coordinating precisely, and rarely failing. But here, another cruel rule exists. Those who don't hunt can still thrive. Because when the prey falls, it's not just the victor watching. In the surrounding bushes, other eyes were waiting, ready to rob. The morning on the steppe began not with a roar, but with a suffocating silence. The air vibrated slightly from the heat rising from the ground, distorting the horizon. This was the most dangerous time of day, when hunger compelled the predator to act, but the sun wasn't high enough to conceal any mistake. The pack of wild dogs moved low to the ground, spreading out like perfectly placed puzzle pieces. They didn't even dare breathe heavily or make any other sound, as if even the slightest noise would disrupt the hunt. Only their eyes constantly scanned the sea of dry grass, searching for a moment of weakness. They didn't target the strongest. They waited for the slowest. A young antelope separated from the pack by half a step. Just half a step, but on the step, that was enough to decide its fate. The leader of the pack of wild dogs changed direction. Two other individuals immediately turned, forcing the prey away from their protective formation. The chase began. Not a brief burst of speed, but a relentless wear and tear. The wild dogs weren't in a hurry to bring it down. They ran to wear down the prey's energy, each step making its legs feel heavy as stone. Rapid breathing mingled with a pounding heartbeat. The prey began to lose its rhythm. A slip, a change of direction half a second slower. And that was the moment everything collapsed. The bites weren't aimed at finishing, but at holding. The individuals coordinated coldly, dragging the prey down into the open field. Just a few moments later, all fell silent. The prey collapsed. The pack of wild dogs stood around, panting, their body heat still rising in the early morning sun. They didn't pounce on the meal immediately. Instinct and experience compelled them to wait, because on the savannah, the moment after taking down prey is rarely a safe moment. And just as the smell of blood began to spread on the hot wind, the silence was broken. A hoarse, guttural sound rose from the bushes, the laughter of hyenas. One emerged at the edge of the clearing, standing still, its eyes fixed on the still warm carcass. Then a second, a third. They appeared scattered, forming a wide arc that slowly closed in. The pack of wild dogs instantly tensed. Their gazes shifted from the prey to the newcomers. This wasn't a random encounter. They were all scented with the bounty. The hyenas advanced slowly, circling as if assessing the situation. A young wild dog let out a low growl, a final warning. The only response was louder laughter. They didn't need to charge. They just needed to stand there, in sufficient numbers, for long enough. And when a feint forced the pack of wild dogs to focus all their attention forward, a tiny gap appeared in the protective circle around the carcass. Hyenas never miss opportunities like that. The hyena immediately lunged forward. The pack of wild dogs reacted instantly. Trying to pull the other one away from the spoils. But the hyena wasn't alone. In a few seconds of chaos, the hyena prevailed. The balance tipped. The hyena began to eat, without hesitation. They stood on the spoils, gnawing greedily, as if it rightfully belonged to them. The pack of wild dogs retreated to the periphery, barking fiercely, lunging in and then recoiling. Not close enough to reclaim it, but not yet giving up. On the savannah, this is the most brutal moment of survival. The one who sheds blood watches while the thief eats. And if it had ended there, the hyena would have won completely. But this game wasn't over yet. Recklessness at this moment meant suicide. The wild dogs understood that very well. They disappeared into the sea of grass, scattering and rejoining at a distance, just enough to avoid being pursued. From afar, eyes still gazed at the feeding ground, not to steal back, but to remember. Who was eating? Where was they eating? And with whom were they eating? Wild dogs don't have fixed territories like lions. But they have the memory of a wandering predator. Remembering every path, every clearing, every one of their thieves. There are debts on the savannah that don't need to be collected immediately. The savannah doesn't forget. It just waits for the changing seasons. After the theft, the hyena pack entered the most important period of the year, the breeding season. Not just one female, but many in the pack became pregnant at the same time, led by the alpha female. In hyena society, power belonged to the females. And when those in power simultaneously carried a new generation, the entire pack was drawn into immense pressure. More mouths to feed were about to be born. More dens needed to be protected. And more hunting trips had to take place, despite the increased risks. Hyenas become more aggressive and reckless, not because they are stronger, but because they have no other choice. Each time they leave their den, they leave behind their unborn cubs. Each time they return, they need to bring enough food to maintain order in a society where power is constantly challenged. On the other side of the savannah, wild dogs also breed. But unlike hyenas, the burden doesn't fall on a few individuals. The entire pack shares the task of foraging and protecting the young.